Hi, my name's Alex Raposo, and this mod I worked for the office of Congresswoman Rosa DeLauro, and she's a Democrat from the 3rd District of Connecticut. So, to begin, my essential question is how effective is the American healthcare system in comparison to those of other nations? I chose this question because the healthcare system has seemingly never been without major issues and has become very relevant lately, especially as people have fought the repeal of Obamacare. In the past, Congress has addressed these issues by creating the ACA, Medicare, Medicaid, and most recently, Trump Care was introduced into the mix. Trump Care is obviously not something that everyone supports, and my Congresswoman has a history of protecting the ACA, so this is especially relevant in my office. The Congresswoman really does listen to her constituents, and it is interesting what they have to say about healthcare. I personally had a lot of calls about switching to single payer healthcare. I've had people who loved Obamacare. I've also had calls from people who trust President Trump and actually like his budget for healthcare and who support Trump care completely. The vast majority of these calls are still from people expressing opposition toward Trump care and supporting the ACA, but it is really interesting uh, to see, even in a more progressive and densely democratic district, that there are still many constituents whose opinion differs from like what we call the norm. The Congresswoman also has a history of protecting funding for Medicare, Medicaid, and Planned Parenthood, which is threatened in Trump's recent budget and is being highly debated in Congress right now. If Congress doesn't come to a consensus in these areas, the government will be forced to shut down at the end of this week. So there will be undoubtedly a lot of action in this area in the coming days. Personally, I feel that whatever decision is made will end up being more of a band aid for these problems because of the many clashing views from the ultra conservative Republicans all the way to the very progressive Democrats. And these are going to often result in compromises that don't exactly offer a solution. So, after getting updated on our current healthcare situation here in the US, I thought I would see how other countries handle healthcare and how their systems work and how their inhabitants are reacting to them. Are they generally happy with healthcare they're receiving? So, I chose to look at the United Kingdom, Russia, and Canada. In the United Kingdom, the National Healthcare Service offers free emergency healthcare to the residents of the UK. However, people can still opt to purchase insurance from private companies to cover elective treatments and procedures. So, for example, this could be something like plastic surgery. This system has earned the UK a 43% satisfaction rate, and 7% of the people are reporting being very satisfied. In Russia, citizens are technically promised free healthcare, but healthcare only actually makes up 3% of their budget, so access to quality healthcare is next to impossible to find. In Canada, the publicly funded healthcare system provides citizens with coverage for both emergency visits and preventative treatment, but can deny or delay treatment based on medical history, age, and other risk factors. Canadians have reported that the percentages of those who are denied is very low, but it's still a pretty controversial system, especially when talking about it in the United States. But even with this controversy, they have a 57% satisfaction rate, with 16% of that being very satisfied. So, why couldn't a system like this work in the United States? So, the problem is that the American people don't want it. So, as we've seen, it's failed. The Clinton campaign did talk a bit about it, and people rejected it completely. Um, so for now, we're just going to have to compromise, and for Congress, that means a vote. Trump care was actually voted against by 3 Republicans, which many are seeing as a sign of progress towards a more bipartisan decision regarding healthcare.